Hi everyone, this story is about an encounter that was reported by Danny Sweeten in the 90s. His encounter happened in Sam Houston National Forest in Texas. It is about 50 miles north of Houston, and it is a multi-use land with privately owned timberlands and farms located within it. Hunters describe the forest as mixed pine and oak with many water sources, and they report that wildlife is diverse and plentiful, especially white-tailed deer. Originally, Danny Sweeten and his friend were supposed to go together to inspect the property they were planning to purchase in the Sam Houston National Forest. They wanted to open a shooting range, but needed to see what kind of work would be needed to prepare the land for business. Unfortunately for Danny, his friend was called into work, leaving him to do the inspection on his own, armed with a VHS camera and a box carrying an unloaded shotgun that he planned to test while out in the forest. Walking through the forest near the San Jacinto River, Danny saw something that made him turn around and take a second look. That's when he saw the creature. It was lying on the ground, propped up on its left elbow. Its right hand was laying relaxed across its leg in front of the knee area, and it was running its thumb across the ends of its fingertips in a motion going back and forth. He locked eyes with this creature and stared at it for a little bit, and he said he knew he was going to have to break this off. Okay, everybody. Quick pause in the story here. I just can't get the visual of a big, swarmy-looking dude, full of hair, trying to give me the come-hither look out of my mind. Did Bigfoot see Danny coming through the woods and decide to get in this position? Did Danny interrupt some Bigfoot repopulation efforts? We'll never know, but I'm sure for Danny it felt more like a big scary beast planning to bring it on like Donkey Kong. Enough of that, though. Back to the story. At this point, Danny took stock of his situation and determined that since he was armed with an unloaded gun in a box and a VHS camera, his death was imminent. Accepting this fate, he decided to at least film his future killer. As he raised the camera, the creature stood up to its full 7.5-foot height and came towards him. When it got close to Danny, the creature raised its arm over his head, and with the left arm it came up with its forearm and elbow, striking Sweeten across the chest. The blow made Danny fall to the ground, knocking 2 teeth loose. The creature quickly retreated into the forest after striking Danny, luckily leaving Danny alive. As the creature was leaving, Danny was able to obtain some video footage of the creature. The camera was missing the rubber eyepiece, so Danny looked down the side of the camera to capture the footage, rather than using the eyepiece. He also wasn't experienced with the camcorder, so he didn't use the zoom feature. Later, describing his encounter, Sweeten stated that as the creature briskly walked in a bouncy fashion, it was hunched over in a stance that was not much taller than he himself was at 6'1". He described the creature as having a crest at the back of the head that angled to a sloping forehead, and he said it appeared as if the face had been lowered down. It had 2 ridges of hair running towards the back of the head from around the eye. The shape of the face was heart-like, with a blunt chin. The eyes were gray and had a human shape, but sat wider apart than human eyes do. The nose was not flat like a gorilla, but a mix between a Caucasian nose and an African American nose. The mouth was human-shaped with a little fuller lips, but not human-looking lips. The lips were a little wider and a little different, and he was able to see the front teeth, which were big, squared off, and yellowish and black in color. Hair covered the creature's face except the eyes, nose, and mouth. The skin color on its face was a grayish-whitish looking color. The palms of hands and the bottom of the feet were more flesh-tone colored, like pig skin. Danny stated that the ears were human-shaped, and it seemed that they were possibly pointed to some extent. Danny said the hands were skinny and very long, probably about 14 inches from the wrist to the end of the fingertips. Its arms appeared to be a little longer proportionately than a human's. The buttocks were small with matted and dirty hair. The feet of the creature were human-shaped and approximately 15 to 17 inches long with a flat appearance. If there was an arch, it was small. The creature's body was large and bulky with a V-shaped torso and a protruding gut area. Even on the gut you could see the stomach muscles as well as other muscles on the body of the creature. The hair was brown-black, the body was a brownish color, and the tops of the hands were black as well as the insides of the legs from the crotch down to the inside of the knees. The hair appeared to be very coarse, stiff hair, like a wild hog's hair. There was no appearance of a neck. The creature was about 3.5 feet wide across the shoulders. Danny stated that the creature was definitely a male, with an average-sized penis for a creature 7.5 feet tall. The creature had a wild animal odor and made deep breathing and grunting sounds, like it was upset it had been disturbed by him. Following his encounter and obtaining the footage, Danny said he started being stalked by someone. He ended up giving the footage to the paranormal show Strange Universe to get the stalker to leave him alone. Danny's story is unique because of the physical contact with the creature as well as having footage to support his claim. While we may never know for certain if this is a true story, many Bigfoot sightings have occurred in the Sam Houston National Forest. This forest has evidence that humans have occupied this area in some form for as long as 12,000 years, with hunters and gatherers forming settlements in the area around 7,000 years ago. If Bigfoot-type creatures inhabit this region, they could be more comfortable with humans than in other regions of the United States because of thousands of years of interaction with each other. Well, thank you for listening to the Squatch Zone. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a story.